There's a puzzling statement in this week's Torah portion that seems to be out of place. After the initial inauguration of the Mishkan, the tabernacle, the Torah continues with an account of the Yom Kippur services. It details the rituals, offering, and significance of the day, and all the required garments and services the Kohen Gadol, the high priest, in this case Aaron, would perform. Concluding the account, the Torah states, "And Aaron did as he was commanded." Now, the inauguration of the Mishkan was in the month of Nisan. Yom Kippur is in the month of Tishrei, 6 months later. It seems odd that we would include this statement, "and Aaron did as he was commanded," 6 months in advance. Rashi gives the following insight. In this verse, we're not just noting that Aaron did as he was commanded, we're addressing Aaron's motivation. He did what he was told, for he was commanded to do so. It would be easy to get swept into the moment, donning the special clothing of the high priest only worn by Aaron and Aaron alone, performing services that only the high priest would do, and being placed on a pedestal above the nation. It would be natural to misconstrue the moment and think that he was beyond change or growth. The Torah tells us Aaron did as he was commanded. He did not lose sight of the reason and motivation for the moment or his position. The Rebbe notes a further lesson. The very moment Aaron was commanded, in the month of Nisan, 6 months before the Yom Kippur services, he rose to the occasion and readied himself to serve. Change happens the moment we decide change will happen. Here's a story to illustrate this idea. A community activist from Germany once visited the Rebbe for the holiday of Simchat Torah. As the Rebbe was dancing with the Sefer Torah, the Torah scroll, he turned to this man and said, "See to it that Berlin becomes a city filled with Hasidic warmth and the light of Judaism." The man replied with an enthusiastic Amen. The Rebbe continued circling the bima, as is customary to do on Simchat Torah. And when he passed the man a second time, turned to him and asked, "Nu, what have you done to implement our recent discussion?" The next morning, the Rebbe again spotted the individual and said, "At this point, an entire night has gone by. What have you accomplished so far?" To the Rebbe, the change in Berlin could not wait until the man arrived in Germany. The change had to start at that very moment. The catalyst, the impetus, the forces and energy of change start in our hearts and minds when we decide that we will pursue it. Action represents the last stage of change, the tip of the iceberg that we see above the sea. But underneath those actions is the decision, strong and wide as a mountain, deep and grounded in our hearts, to create real change. As my teacher in yeshiva once put it, how far is east from west? 100 miles, 1,000 miles, 1,000,000 miles? It is only a turn of direction, a decision to change. Shabbat Shalom.